welcome back. It is the Vegas Take, Sharp and Shapiro. It was nice to have a conversation on the break. JD was telling me he knows somebody 30 years old that was mowing a lawn and had a heart attack. So that makes me feel good at 39. That makes me happy right in the middle of segments. That puts me in a really good mood to start this segment.
You should be really pleased about that.
Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that. That put me in a really good mood.
I stated that in confidence, sir.
Yeah. Luckily, what you told me is the guy was doing drugs. So you failed to put that in there until the end. You were scaring me for a second. But anyway, I digress. Let's get back to it now. A lot of crazy stories in the sports world that actually do involve some political subjects as well. What better person to talk about that than Mike Babcock from TMZ Sports? Mike, I appreciate you coming on. How are you?
Hey, Mikey.
What's up, Brian? Oh, I was doing okay until I just found out I'm on borrowed time here as a 36-year-old.
Yeah, what co-host does that? I mean, come on, man. Jeez. Anyway.
So my last few minutes will be spent with you guys.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Means a lot to us. That means a lot to us. Thank you.
Worth it.
Wanted to get to a couple subjects. Let's start with something that I guess it involves Donald Trump. Well, not I guess. It does. The White House. It is the Red Sox. The Red Sox visiting Donald Trump today, but there were plenty of people, right? Is it fair for me to say plenty of people that were not in attendance, including the manager? Talk to me a little bit about that.
Including the manager, Alex Cora, and their AL MVP last year, Mookie Betts, was not there also. Earlier this week, Alex Cora said that because of the way that he felt that the situation with the hurricane in Puerto Rico had been handled by Donald Trump, that he didn't feel it was appropriate with those people still struggling for him to go to the White House. And it really caused a lot of people to think that the Red Sox clubhouse was divided, so much so that Alex Cora actually had to address that and say that, hey, we're not divided. But, J.D. Martinez, the Red Sox ownership and some of the players went to the White House today. And like Donald Trump has done in the past, when the Patriots visited and Tom Brady wasn't there, he talked about all the Red Sox accomplishments, but somehow he avoided mentioning Mookie Betts' name and Alex Cora's name and everybody else who wasn't there. So it was funny. That's kind of what we expected because we know that's Donald Trump's MO, but he did not mention Mookie Betts, their best player, which was funny.
Considering how good of a year he had last year and how good of a series he had. But, I mean, it's cool that J.D. Martinez gave him the actual trophy.
What's up, JD? Did you just have an aneurysm? You look like you were just about to ask Mike Babcock a question, and then you just Twitter.
J.D. Martinez posted. He said it was one of the best moments, one of the coolest moments of his life, and then instantly received a whole bunch of hate, which you'd expect. But
which is pretty standard.
I respect that he took a stand, and if it was an important moment to him, it's pretty cool to go to the White House, politics aside. But some Red Sox fans, some baseball fans weren't happy with him for saying it was one of the best moments of his life.
But I really don't agree with it, though. I mean, I think that who's to say that they're going to win, that any of these players are going to win another championship and get another chance to go to the White House, whether it's Donald Trump
That's not about that, though.
Or even a Democratic president
but it's not about
in 2020 or 2024, whatever it is.
I
think if you have the opportunity to go, you take it. Now, I understand having ties to your hometown or to your home country and feeling bad about that, but you can still make that statement and not really address the president directly and still show up to the White House. Because again, for me, it's maybe that's just my thought process, but it's just such a lifetime opportunity, and you don't.
Sure, yeah,
it's so hard to win.
I'm with you, Jay. I mean, I'm of the mindset that it's the White House and it's bigger than Donald Trump.
Right, exactly.
Look, I understand. Alex Cora, he was born in Puerto Rico, and if his relatives and his friends,
I get that,
people from his town are struggling, then I've never been in that situation, so I couldn't say what.
But for trying to, I mean, you're giving Donald Trump all the power by making him bigger than the president of the United States and making him bigger than the White House itself. So trying to not give give Donald Trump attention and give him respect, you're actually giving him the utmost respect because you're making him larger than the office that he sits in.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I'm interested. Usually the NFL team will go in June, so I'm really interested to see, with the Patriots winning again, if Tom Brady will go this year. That's going to be something that we'll be watching. I'm really interested in that dynamic. But no, you're right. It's an interesting topic. And God, he's had enough of these lately. He's had, I think, 5 teams in the last 12, 13 days. Army football, Baylor, the NASCAR guys. It seems that this is all he does right now is welcome in athletes.
Did he serve McDonald's food or fast food?
And of course, Tiger Woods.
Did he serve fast food?
Tiger Woods did. Forget Tiger Woods. I don't think he did, Brian. I don't think they ate. Unfortunately for the Red Sox.
Yeah. So I think it's the college teams get fast food and the professional teams get the higher end stuff.
That's how it works. Okay. Speaking of Tiger Woods, Babcock, what did you think about that? The president giving this award to Tiger. What did you think it was deserving?
I mean, look, it's the highest civilian, award that you can get. But when you look at some of the people who have got it in the past, yeah, I think it's perfectly deserving. We know Tiger Woods has not always been a model human in his personal life, but he's accomplished some great stuff on the golf course, clearly. So I don't have a problem with it. Look at who Obama gave them to. Look at who President Bush before him gave them to. These guys are giving them to actors, to athletes. It's just what happens.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough.
They like rubbing shoulders with famous people, and that's what he did. Trump and Tiger are buddies. They golf together. So I would have been surprised if he didn't give this award to Tiger.
Fair enough. Well, we alluded to this in the last segment, Mike, and maybe you could give us a few more details. This is just a bizarre story. What is Dennis Rodman thinking? What is he doing going to this yoga studio clothing store, this theft? I mean, what can you tell us about the details about the story? This is just really bizarre.
Very bizarre. Tuesday, noontime, he walks in with a male friend, 2 female friends, and it's on surveillance video. So I'm not even going to say allegedly, but they stole stuff. They stole the female that Dennis was with stole a whole bunch of Lululemon pants and stuff, $500 worth, according to the owner of the store. One of the male guy he was with picked up this big crystal and was trying to load it onto a dolly because apparently they told the owner that they were going to buy this crystal, one that he was selling for $2,500. And as he's trying to load it onto the dolly, the guy drops it. It breaks into a million pieces on the floor. They end up loading the broken pieces onto the dolly, and they actually walk out with the crystals. They walk out with the clothes. Nobody pays for anything. You have this girl behind the counter who has no idea what to do because she has this group of people, including Dennis Rodman. If she believes that they're drunk, she says they smell like booze, and so she calls the cops after. So Newport Beach police come out. They took a report, and I mean, this is an issue. I think it's bizarre and it's crazy, but for Dennis Rodman, he could really be in trouble here. The guy is on probation for a DUI that he also got in Orange County, where Newport Beach is. So he's on probation. So if he's stealing what they say is $3,000 worth of stuff, that's going to be a felony. And guy could go to jail for this, for as stupid as it is. But it's just a bizarre situation. But what would you expect with Dennis Rodman?
That's true. I'm surprised he just wasn't tagging along with Kim Jong-un. That's the only thing that surprises me about that story.
Now that would have been a hell of a story.
It would have been, yes. Tell me,
Kim Jong-un and Dennis Rodman go to hot yoga in Newport Beach. That's the story.
That would be kind of great. I could totally picture Kim Jong-un in a yoga class, though. I can. He fits the profile. But I want to talk a little bit about this Cubs fan. This is a weird story. Me and JD were having some discussions on this. I think we disagree. What exactly, give us a detail, what exactly did this fan do?
So Doug Glanville is, he's doing the Cubs game. He's giving his report, and this fan, you see, on the screen, puts up this hand sign, I guess, which you could describe as like an upside down, like AOK sign. And I didn't even know this, guys, to be completely honest with you, but apparently that is a sign for white power. So the Cubs, I guess, give them credit for being on top of this, and they saw this, and they immediately launched an investigation. And the latest is that they say they've identified who this person is. No, they're not gonna reveal his identity, but they've tried to reach out to him, and they say they've been unsuccessful in reaching out to him. They've tried, several times, so they have now banned him. But they've left the door open a little bit. They said, if you want to contact us and there's some explanation here, then call us. Because, let's be honest, there are others. This sign, this hand sign, can be used for other things. I know that as a game where if you look at it, you punch somebody, you know what I mean? So who knows what's in this guy's heart. But from what I understand, people I talk to, it is a white power sign. So, but who knows what he was trying to do? But until this guy contacts the Cubs and explains what he was doing with his hand, then he's not going to any Cubs games.
I think this is completely ridiculous. This is absolutely a game. I've played it before plenty of times.
No, me too.
I'm pretty sure. Didn't Barack Obama do this one time in a photo or something like that? Didn't he play the game one time?
I'm not sure about that, but
you put it down.
I've played that game a million times.
Yeah, and someone looks at it, and if they look at it, you hit them in the arm. That's right. The game. And this guy's he looked like a younger guy. What was he? Was he like front row, first row?
Right. Really good seats.
Really good seats. So what white supremacist who's presumably probably very, very non-intelligent is going to do so? I don't think that. I think you're going to find out that there's no association at all, and it was just totally blown out of context, and it shouldn't even be a story.
Well, I'm going to go this far and say this, and I'm going to pull back a little and say just because you're sitting first row does not necessarily mean you are not a racist, okay? Excuse me, Donald Trump has sat first row to plenty of games before he was president. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I allude to the fact that I might think the president is a racist? Gosh,
Yeah,
I'm
just keep
sorry
talking
about that.
it.
Okay, listen, I think Spike Lee is a racist. I think he's a very talented director. He has said some things towards white people that are you can be construed as racist. The guy's first row to Knicks games.
Do you think that Jordan Peele's a racist?
Don't know. I don't know the answer to that. All I can go by is what people say. And Spike Lee has 100% said some racist things in the past.
But yeah, my guess is this guy's he's a Chicago frat guy who was on TV for the first time in his life.
Wait, was it Judge Kavanaugh?
And he's hoping
that
someone saw and they go, hey, man, and it got totally blown out of proportion.
I don't know. Well, I hear what you're saying. We don't know what's in his heart, so we'll have to wait and see how this thing plays out. One person that I know is not a racist is Mike Babcock. He does a very good job at TMZ Sports. They all do a great job over there. Mike, I always appreciate it when you come on, my man. Great job, and we'll catch you next week.
Thanks, Bills. We'll talk then.
All right, take care.
See you, Mikey.
Mike Babcock from TMZ Sports. Look, it's an interesting discussion, right? Because how do you know what's in somebody's heart?
Well,
it's very difficult.
Why is this guy presumed guilty suddenly because of an ambiguous sign? That could be for a lot of different things.
There's a few things that I think you can tell right away if somebody's a racist. Right?
If he had a piece of paper that said Heil Hitler, okay, fine, I understand that.
He's an anti-Semite.
Whatever it is.
Right. Well, look, if somebody of an opposite race says the N-word, I think you can pretty much fairly say they're a racist.
Exactly.
I don't know. All I'm trying to tell you is I don't think we can assume that he's not.
But I don't like that this is blown up the way that
Why isn't the guy responded by now?
The way that it's being presented is he is, and it's totally unacceptable.
First of all, let's just say you or I did a hand signal like that, and we were at a professional.
Brian, you do gang signs in our photos every time.
Hear me out on this, though. Hear me out on this. I'm giving a hypothetical. Let's just say you or I or anybody is doing hand signals. And we don't have a media pass. We're just sitting at a game, whether it's a Vegas Aces game or UNLV, whatever the case may be. And then that night,
do you think there's a chance that
let me finish.
That the third baseman hand signals can be considered as racist?
I was trying to give you a degree. All right, you're interrupting me.
Continue your hypothetical.
Your ADD is worse than mine. It's unbelievable.
It's these M&Ms I've been eating.
Okay, just let me finish the hypothetical. Okay, that night, let's just say we're at a UNLV game. That night, it's tweeted out, and people are calling you or I a racist. Okay, wouldn't you immediately, if not the first thing in the morning, call the organization or the university and say, hey, guys, I am not a racist. Here's why I did that hand signal. It in no way, shape, or form was towards African Americans or any other race. The reason why I think this guy is a racist is because he hasn't called the organization. They've been trying to reach him. Wouldn't you want to defend yourself? He hasn't tried to do that. So what is that?
So, Brian, this is the same logic that was applied to you yesterday by the Avenatti haters. Why did you not ask him about his wire fraud charges?
And I answered all their questions. But I responded. I didn't ignore them.
Just because he hasn't responded. Honestly, I wouldn't respond either. I think it's ambiguous enough.
Yeah.
And it's and honestly, this racist thing, it started on a forum called 4chan, which is like an underground, really weirdo dark web forum. That's where the whole racist connotation came from. It's not mainstream.
I don't know anything about that.
4chan.org. 4chan.org.
I don't know anything about that. The only point I'm trying to make is, wouldn't you want to defend yourself immediately to the organization and just a phone call and say, hey, guys, I'm not a racist. This was the hand signal. It had nothing to do with that. If he doesn't make that phone call, it leads me to believe that he probably is a racist. But we'll have to wait and see. The number to call if you want to be a part of the program is 257-5396. What do you guys think about this? 702-257-5396. We will take a couple calls on this issue. How do you know that somebody is a racist? Do you think this fan at this Cubs game is a racist? The organization has tried to contact him. He has not responded. Should we assume he's a racist, or is that not right in your opinion? Again, that number to call, 257-5396. Let's start with Fernando. Fernando, thanks for calling in. What's up?
What's up, Fernando?
Hey, guys. Great show again.
Thank you.
First off, I love all the races. Okay. But I want to congratulate UNLV on their academic progress. I believe we have 57 teams or something like that, and everybody's over the 950 mark. That's great. That's a great success. And
it's a great success, but unfortunately, it doesn't equal wins, though. That's the only problem. Is it doesn't equal. It is good, but let's call it for what it is. At that university, from an athletic standpoint, the football team and the basketball team. The football team absolutely has to win this year. Sanchez is not going to keep his job.
And I think they're going to win.
Right. And
I hope so.
The volleyball team, the tennis, the golf, all the others are doing fantastic.
Do you really follow those sports?
Huh? Yes, I do.
Have you ever been to a tennis match? I'm curious because I've never been to one. Have you been to a UNLV tennis match?
Yes, I went last year to a tennis.
Well, that's cool. That's
match.
good that you support those programs. Those are the sports that I played in college, so I'm happy to hear that. They don't get enough love.
Yeah, I know they don't. And once again, great show, guys, and you guys take care.
All right. Thanks, Fernando. I appreciate it. 257-5396, 702-257-5396. Interesting he brings up, JD, golf and tennis. And by the way, yeah, UNLV has a fantastic golf team, one of the best.
As they should.
They're really, really good. You think of all the PGA players that have come out of UNLV. Adam Scott, Charlie Hoffman. I mean, the list goes on and on. But I wanted to talk about those sports a little bit because we talked a little bit yesterday with Michael Avenatti about how should or should not athletes get paid, college athletes. I don't think if the golf team or the swimming team or the tennis team, if they're not making money for the university, I think a scholarship is enough for those student athletes. But if you're on the football team or the basketball team, let's just say, you're on the Duke basketball team. Okay, not to say some of those players aren't already getting paid, but let's just assume they're not. You can't tell me that a player on the on the Duke basketball team should be getting the same amount of money as somebody on the tennis or golf team. That is completely and utterly ridiculous. I think they need to come up with some sort of system where all athletes do get paid something, but I think it should be based on the percentage of the money that the organization, the sport is making the university. And if the organization's not making any money for the university, it should be run like any other business. I don't think the athletes should be getting paid. If they're on scholarship, that's enough. But if you're making millions and millions of dollars, if you're a Zion Williamson, by the way, and again, he probably did get paid some, but let's just assume he didn't. Let's just assume for a moment, hypothetically, that he didn't get paid, and Mike Krzyzewski did not cheat to get Zion Williamson. If he didn't cheat, you're telling me that kid didn't deserve anything? Or he should be treated the same as someone on the women's golf team? That's absurd.
No, it has to be revenue-based. How could it not be revenue-based? And Zion Williamson made Duke, I don't know, at least $100 million, and he made Nike probably 3 times that much.
Right.
How much did he make NB or CBS during March Madness just from the ratings of people watching his games, from all the hype that he had all year long?
And let me tell you something. I am against
all that adds up.
I am against Title IX and that nonsense. Just the same reason why I'm against somebody getting into a college with not as good as grades as somebody who happens to be white. I am against that affirmative action stuff too.
If you're good at something, people they're willing to pay to watch you do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you've got 60,000 people willing to pay to go to a Michigan football game, and 15 willing to go to a Michigan volleyball game, it's not. I mean, it pales in comparison. It's not even a conversation.
It doesn't. It shouldn't be an argument. But we talk about Title IX, and we talk. There are many men's, sports in many colleges across the country that have been cut because of women's. I don't agree with that.
At UNO, in where I'm from, Omaha, Nebraska, they cut a wrestling team, a national championship, a Division II wrestling team.
Yeah, it's stupid. Look, listen to me, okay? The UConn women's basketball team makes that university an enormous amount of money. I would be okay if they cut a few men's programs. Let me put it to you this way. I wouldn't want them to cut a few women's programs that are successful because of the other way around. And you see what I'm saying? I want everyone to be treated fairly, but let's call it for what it is. A women's swimming team or a women's golf team is making no money compared to what most colleges make on a successful UNLV football. I don't know how successful they are, but I'm talking in generic terms, a football team or a basketball team. That's just the reality of it, folks. That's just the way it is. I've never agreed with Title IX, just like the same reason why I don't agree with affirmative action. I believe if you get the grades, it shouldn't matter what the color of your skin is. It should not matter. Okay? I don't want somebody getting in to a university with grades a little lower than somebody else that doesn't get in because of the color of their skin. I never have agreed to that, and I never will. Yes, there is racists out there. Yes, there is racism out there. I wish there wasn't, and it better not be happening at the college level. But that doesn't mean that we should be putting people into college because of the color of their skin. That's wrong.
You believe in Darwinism, then? Survival of the fittest.
I believe if you work hard in this country and you get good grades, you deserve to get what's coming to you, not because of the color of your skin if you get B's and somebody else gets an average of an A- in high school and is in more extracurricular activities. I disagree with that completely. You work hard, you get the grades, That should mean more to where you're come from. And I get that. I know why we have affirmative action. I just never agreed with it. I just don't. You know what else I don't agree with? Racism. I don't believe we should ever look at someone based on sex, based on gender, based on skin color when it comes to anything in life, especially getting into college. I've never felt that way.
You know what I believe in? The Denver Nuggets.
Wait. What's your segue? That's it? You going to give me a score at least?
Yeah, they're up 24-14 against the Blazers. They're playing very well on the road, and I think they've got a shot to beat the Warriors with KD.
Who cares? It's the NBA. Don't even watch until the fourth quarter.
It is the NBA.
Jameson would agree with us. Don't even watch an NBA game until the fourth quarter. I'm watching a game yesterday with Chris Wynn at his house, and the guy can't win a game. It's terrible. He just can't win a game. And we're watching the Houston Golden State game. Of course, what side did he take? He takes Golden State -6. Okay? Golden State is up 20 points in the first half. It looks like it's going to be a blowout. And Chris is sitting there, and I'm like, Chris, you know what's going to happen, right? Chris is a friend of the show, by the way, if you don't know what we're talking about. I said, Chris, you know what's going to happen, right? Golden State's going to win. They're going to win by 5 because you have Golden State -6. So what happens at the end of the game? Iguodala misses a free throw. Golden State misses a couple shots. They still win the game. It lands on exactly 5 points. It is why we call that a C-win special. I watched it firsthand last night.
Now,
it was brutal to watch.
Was that at his home?
Yes, it was in his house.
Brian, we've been through this multiple times. Chris Wynn's house is where bets go to die.
They really do. I've had the worst beats watching games at his house.
Nothing good happens there.
I have had the worst beats imaginable.
And you continually watching games there and him continually living there is the definition of insanity.
I'll tell you what I've learned to do. I'll tell you what I've learned to do, my friend. And I hate to admit this on the air, but I'm going to. Game 7, Vegas Golden Knights. Chris Wynn has the under. I was planning on watching the game at his house, and I did. And what did I do? I took the opposite. I'm going to take the opposite of what Chris Wynn has. I took the over. The score was 2-0. The total was 6.
You almost have to. You have to go against your gut in that situation. Which is the worst feeling as a sports bettor, by the way.
The score was 2-0 with 10 minutes left to go in the game, and somehow the over finds a way of coming in. It was just so brutal.
I'll tell you the worst beat in the C-Win residence. Last year, Brian and I and Chris, we all had the Red Sox. I'm sorry, we all had the Yankees. 30 seconds. Yankees money line. They're up 4-1, bottom of the ninth, 2 outs. Mm-hmm. Nobody on base.
I remember. I was there.
They lose the game 5-4.
I remember. I was there.
I literally said...
All right, we got to go. I'm sorry. We got to go, JD. I didn't mean to cut you off. We got to go. Hey, I want to plug. We got Bill Lame Beer. Bill Lame Beer in studio tomorrow. That is going to be a ton of fun, folks. We'll continue the conversation. Same place, same time. Ken Thompson coming up next year on the Vegas Take, the all-new 101.5 FM, 720 AM KDWN.